Utah State quarterback Logan Bonner is out of the game after this play to end the third quarter. What do you think happened here, Will?
Yeah, I think he just had the ball underneath him, and then you see the defender just fall right on top of him. At first, I thought he got the wind knocked out of him, but he got up and almost like he did something to a rib.
He went back down, and trainers came out during the quarter break. And so Andrew Peasley, the junior from LeGrand, Oregon, is in this game here with a 3rd and 16 to start the fourth quarter. Utah State leading New Mexico 35-3. Peasley does have experience, and he throws here to Devin Tompkins, and he's going to have to make something spectacular happen, and instead slides down after a pickup of 1, and now a late flag comes in. Now, there's been a couple unsportsmanlikes on New Mexico's defense already today, so you're at risk of somebody having a second and being disqualified. But let's see. Tompkins slid down. That hit came definitely after he'd given himself up.
Right. But I like it. You bring in the backup and you go right to Tompkins. Just throw it at him. No question.
Peasley's had a lot of success, particularly against New Mexico last year. His career high passing, in fact, came against the Lobos.
After the play, personal foul, number 58 defense. Excuse me, 58 offense. 15 yards from the spot. Remains 4th down. Hey, we're going to
58 in white is who we're looking for. That push right there. Oh. No, there was a shot to the head.
I saw a head snap
at the last
back.
second. Yeah. Dimitrik Ali Ifua, who's playing in his Utah State record 57th game. So Utah State committed that penalty. And so it moves them back. Either way, they're going to punt. It's just a matter of how far the punt will be.
I love the being backed up. It gives the punt returner an opportunity for a good return.
Andrew Erickson back deep to take this from Katzenlee.
Not here. Too much hang time.
Great hang. And a dive, and it's loose, and Utah State recovers it. Utah State's on the football. Coming out of the pile with it is Nick Henninger.
The punt recovered by the defense. Utah State
that ball was so high up there, and Erickson tried to go get it, and it left him in a vulnerable spot.
Yeah, as a returner, if there's too much traffic, like, just get out of there. Don't even bother. Just call Peter, go to the sideline. There's just too much around you to try to make that catch. Especially if you have to dive forward on a catch like that, on a punt. There's no need.
So Henninger comes away with it. The second turnover for New Mexico today. And Peasley right back onto the field then in place of Bonner. And you just start thinking about next week for Utah State. There is Noah with a big carry on first down. So the scenario was Utah State's got to win. They need San Diego State to beat Boise State. If that happens today, they're in the Mountain West title game, and that's indeed what happened. San Diego State has come from behind. That game kicked off an hour before this one, and so Utah State advances to the Mountain West title game with a win. 14 minutes away from that as Peasley pulls this down and picks up a first down. And that means that Utah State, once this game goes final, will clinch the division, the Mountain Division, and play at San Diego State next week in the Mountain West Championship game on Fox.
Yeah, so it was wise to get Bonner out of there. You'll probably see Tompkins get out of there eventually.
But I'm sure some folks at San Diego State and some Utah State fans as Noble comes in for his second sack of the day. He's having a great final game as a Lobo.
Get some tape.
That's right.
Right? And get some film. Great job of him just getting around.
But there's just going to be a lot of people very interested in the health of Logan Bonner now, with a Mountain West title game waiting ahead next Saturday. Peasley. Pressure coming again, and this time he gets it out to Noah, who gets ridden out of bounds by Tavian Combs. And again, Peasley's had some big games. Peasley was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week once last year. Had the 4-touchdown game, a rally for a win over New Mexico. He's a junior, been around.
Right, so he's very capable. He's not just, you look at New Mexico's situation, it's very, very different. He's in there, he's very capable of making plays for this team.
And you just wonder, now with Bonner out of this game, and next week, unknown, and that's a conversation for another time. We're talking about a lot of speculation to start wondering there, but these reps potentially now become pretty valuable for Peasley if Bonner's not 100%.
Right, on both sides. If Bonner is pretty seriously injured, the treatment starts now. And right, this is a good chance for Peasley to get those reps in.
See Bonner standing over there with the helmet on.
Have a seat, sir. You had a great day. There's no need unless you want to help coach.
There's a single season touchdown record out there still, tied with Jordan Love right now. Utah State looking to the sideline.
He said, let me get a record. Devin got a record. Let me get one.
It's been a record-setting day.
Timeout, Utah State.
Utah State will take a timeout here. We'll step aside. Fourth quarter at Albuquerque. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. It's been a gorgeous, crisp, clear day here in Albuquerque. It's been all Aggies, 35-3 in the fourth quarter. And after the timeout, a 47-yard field goal attempt coming for Connor Coles. His first field goal attempt of the day, and he misses it left. And so the score remains 35-3. And New Mexico will take over at that spot. So if you're just tuning in, there are so many different possibilities in the Mountain West. 5 different teams entered the week with a chance of going to the Mountain West title game. Fresno State took care of its business yesterday, right, dominating San Jose State in San Jose. But they needed Boise State to win today. That did not happen. San Diego State came from behind, beat Boise State this morning. And so with that and a win here today, Utah State will advance to the Mountain West title game to face San Diego State next week in Carson. Bryson Carroll throwing on first down the field. Incomplete. The clock stops at 11:46. I was looking for Kyle Jarvis. For San Diego State, an 11-win regular season. The success, of course, that Rocky Long helped lay the foundation for. Double-digit wins for the 5th time in 7 years for San Diego State. There's Bobby Wood with the carry.
Watch out.
Yep, more flags late. This game's been chippy.
It's just been literally unnecessary. Like that right there, it's like for what? You know what I mean? He's out the game.
You think?
Well, his coach is taking him out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 96, defense. 15-yard penalty be added, automatic first down. It's the first unsportsmanlike conduct for 96.
We've had a lot of that today. 5 penalties on Utah State, 7 on New Mexico. Make that 6 now on Utah State. And there is the conversation with Blake Anderson and Vaca Uta, a sophomore from Euless, Texas. Here is Wooden, and he gets bottled up and dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, white jerseys all around him. There was absolutely nowhere to go on that play.
So, 11 wins this year for San Diego State.
Right.
Now, they've had a great year. Of course, Air Force had a great year, the nation's leading rushing team. San Jose State, as I mentioned, did not win yesterday, but still 7 bowl-eligible teams out of this league, which is tied for 4th most among the 10 FBS leagues. And, of course, one of the headlines, the turnaround for Blake Anderson and Utah State. third down and long coming up for New Mexico.
I mean, these defensive ends are just doing an outstanding job today. They're setting the edge, they're busting right through, and they're just killing this option. Read option, speed option, doesn't matter. They try to get to the edge. It is not happening today on this Aggie defense.
Blake Anderson playing head coach and get-back guy right now on his sideline.
And therapist.
And therapist, that's right. So that's part of the job, right, as the head coach, everything.
Everything.
Janal on for this third down and long play, and it's incomplete. So 7 years at Arkansas State. He comes over to Utah State, a program that went 1-5 last year, goes 8-3. You should take a look at the best improvements in FBS football this year. Of course, Michigan, Baylor, big parts of that list. Last year was so bizarre, you don't really know what to make of it.
Right.
But you knew this, Utah State just had a really tough year, not just on the field, but the program in its entirety. And here comes Blake Anderson. They were picked 5th in the division in the preseason poll. 5th. The only team picked below them in the Mountain Division was New Mexico.
That's why you hear Danny talking about him, you know, his vote for Coach of the Year.
Yep, that's right.
Timeout on the field.
Blake Anderson, it's an objectively great job this year. 9 minutes and 57 seconds away from the Mountain West title game. 9 minutes and 57 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. And it is that time of year. The leaves are down. That time of day, too, to have some fun on the grass.
No, look at those kids in shorts. We're up here with hand warmers, hot hands.
That's right.
You get that California blood in us right now.
Having a good time. That is Thanksgiving in football. Well, the punt was fielded and fair caught at the 16-yard line. And yet the ball's at the 21 right now. There was not a penalty. And we did check the tape. It was at the 16, but Utah State's got it at the 21 right now.
Play on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. John Gentry is going to take that handoff. A 4-yard pickup. Let's look back here. So this drive started at the 21. Here's the punt. Yeah, that's definitely the 16-yard line there. So they got 5 yards somehow. But I assure you, nothing happened while we were in commercial break. Not sure if it looks like it might have been misspotted. Here's Gentry again. And he'll get a couple more.
Yeah, then they're just going to try to get out of here. No more injuries, no more penalties.
Yep. No targetings, right? You can't have that because that cost you the first half of the next game. We haven't had one today, so.
And I'm sure they know the results of the other game on the sideline. I'm sure they know.
Well, we asked Blake Anderson about that. Are you going to be, you know, this is not baseball where every out-of-town scoreboard tells you every score from around the league, but he told us, you know, when I was at New Mexico 20 years ago, they would put scores up, and I hope they don't put that one up. I'm not going to be paying attention to it, I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure somebody in the headset said something.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily change anything they do, right?
For sure.
They have to win today.
Oh, there you go.
There's Gentry, and another flag comes out.
Had to be a hold.
That's where a couple of Lobos are pointing.
Holding, number 85, offense.
There you see him right
10
there.
yards from the spot of foul. Replay, third down.
That's Parker Buchanan, the true freshman who's been elevated today because Josh Sturzer is out because of COVID protocols. So no Sturzer on this trip, and it means Buchanan getting some extended playing time. Much better performance than not just last week. Remember, they were coming off Utah State, the best probably game they'd played all year. They went over San Jose State, a 31-point win, and they were riding high when they rolled home.
On a nice streak there.
27-point loss to Wyoming last Saturday night. And one thing that Blake Anderson said very early in the week, we can't drag that loss with us this week. And from the jump, they did not look like a team that was carrying any baggage with them, knowing they needed help, and they got it. And early on, they weren't getting it. Boise State was leading early, but they took care of the work that they needed. And so Blake Anderson, who entered the day with 8 wins, he's going to be the only first-year head coach to 9 wins this year. And that's why you mentioned earlier, Danny Gonzalez told us he thinks his buddy, his mentor, one of his mentors, Blake Anderson, should be the National Coach of the Year. He was here as an assistant coach when Danny Gonzalez was a graduate assistant. Rocky Long hired him. He called Rocky Long his football dad. And they've gotten together now for this Thanksgiving. And it'll be one to remember for Utah State. 7:16 to go. Blake Anderson and the Aggies. One of the great seasons in Aggie history. They still got more work to do next week. There's the legendary Rocky Long, the defensive coordinator now for the Lobos in his 2nd year. The winningest coach in Mountain West history, 3 times the Mountain West Coach of the Year, 9 years at San Diego State, never had a losing season there, 11 years previously as the head coach here, and he hired Blake Anderson here at New Mexico back in 1999, and Blake Anderson told the media this week he considers Rocky Long his football dad. There's the catch
by the way,
New Mexico. But
it was another Devin Tompkins hug, by the way. I just wanted to put that.
Did he hug Blake Anderson?
He
right
hugged
there?
Blake Anderson.
We need a counter on that. But you know, Rocky's been such a big influence. One of the great defensive coaches, no doubt, head coaches in this league, defensive coaches in the nation. And he predicted back when Danny Gonzalez was much younger, a player here and then a grad assistant, that Danny would one day be the head coach here. And so his fingerprints are on the careers of both head coaches. Fingerprints might be understating it to say fingerprints. I mean, he has been a mentor to both Danny Gonzalez and Blake Anderson.
Yeah, Rocky's you know, his MO is he's able to do a lot with less. He's able to get the most out of any single player, regardless of his talent level. And you can see with this New Mexico team, every single player, they're playing extremely hard. Oh, no.
Last player down for New Mexico. And we'll step aside here with 6:11 remaining.
Timeout on the field.
An injury on the field. 35-3 to score. You see the point there from Redson Jang being helped off. The offensive lineman, the redshirt senior from Honolulu, his teammates all coming to his aid. We're not going to replay the injury, but you can see that so many players with concern for him on both sides. And a great showing of support from both teams.
Yeah, it just shows you how bad it was, you know. Gosh.
And they got to him very quickly, and the cart out. Redson Jang, one of the seniors on this team that have hoped to lay the foundation for the future of this program, and he's getting a hand. Blows a kiss. And he was in a scary moment there, so it's at least good to see him be able to acknowledge the crowd and hope that he's all right. And I credit to the medical staff for the quick work after what was a bit of a graphic injury.
Yeah, big time.
To his leg. So as he leaves, it is 1st down and 10 for New Mexico. Ben Davis has come into the game at offensive line to replace Jang. And Dixon with a couple of yards. Well, I mentioned the seniors, and we talked to Danny Gonzalez, and he said, look, give the seniors a lot of credit. They came in, they heard me at the podium when I got the job say, we're not good enough. We don't want JC transfers. That's not how we're going to build this. We're a long ways away, and we need better players. He said every step of the way it seems like they've heard you're not good enough for me.
Right.
And so many of them have said, you know what, that's okay. We're going to do what we can. We're going to show up every day, and we want to be a part of the foundation here. And you could tell talking to Danny Gonzalez, he had so much respect for the attitude of so many of the seniors, many of them junior college transfers. Here's Peyton Dixon breaking into space, and that gives the crowd something to cheer about here. A pick up of 23 yards.
I mean, he came to play today.
He did.
You know, he knew his number was called. He was ready to get his time, his opportunity. He's making the most of it. Despite what the score says, he's playing well today. He's getting momentum going into next season for sure.
How tough it must be as a running back to run the ball when the defense knows, by and large, that's what you're going to do. 47 rushing attempts today for New Mexico out of this triple option. And again, not to belabor the point, Will, but it should be said, 61% of their offense, their total yards missing from this game, not counting Isaiah Chavez, the quarterback, who was injured last week.
Exactly.
It's Luke Wysong and Aaron Dumas, and Terry Wilson. It's been a while. You know, we're a little bit removed from those rocky long days here. They haven't had a league title here since 1964. Here's Carroll. Open. Jarvis. Touchdown, New Mexico. Bryson Carroll, what a moment for him. Came in as an option quarterback, had medically retired, was a student manager, and he throws his first career touchdown pass to Kyle Jarvis, a super senior. A moment for both of those two young men in their final game in red.
That's outstanding. Last game was a TD pass.
Finding a moment, I think that's a memory that'll last a long time. Despite this score, for those two guys to have that moment together. Kyle Jarvis, his third year here, a junior college transfer, mostly a blocking tight end.
Right.
He got the extra year after the eligibility was granted because of COVID-19 last year. And Bryson Carroll came in as a option quarterback. He was on the coaching staff, put the pads back on, and throws a touchdown.
It was outstanding.
You know, I think at the beginning of the broadcast when we said, oh, here's Bryson Carroll, it could be a storybook type thing. You're thinking about, could he win the game? But even that right there.
That's a great victory.
A running back who had medically retired on a touchdown.
Was not training. Yeah,
that's storybook too, right? That's a different book. But
not training, not in shape, was just coaching. And then next thing you know, gets his first start, throws a touchdown pass in his last game.
Coming up next, it's the College Football Extra presented by Crypto.com. I'll tell you, when Kyle Jarvis and Bryson Carroll, and I'm sure you have this, you went back to Boston College for the first time in years for that Hall of Fame induction. When they run into each other 15 years from now and they talk about this day, right? They're not going to talk about
Utah State
that it was 35 to 10.
First of the half. 30-second timeout.
They'll talk about that. And that's cool. That's really cool.
I remember when we were talking to Coach Danny Gonzalez, you know, we mentioned how, do you look at this as like auditioning or momentum for the next season? And he said no, not really. You know, he's just ready to play. But I would take a hard look at what Peyton Dixon has done today. You know, basically close to 100 yards rushing. And knowing his ability from what he did in high school, and knowing, you know, him coming back next year, you know, Dumas there, Cole there. I mean, you have some guys who are extremely capable to do what he can do in terms of the ground game. So I think that's something huge that me as a head coach, I would take a hard look at. Is, okay, this offseason, you have a full offseason now for guys to train and get strong. Because he talked about the strength of these young running backs, these young players as well, too, to get a full offseason of strength training. So that's something that I definitely would look at really, really hard.
What a difference it makes for Peyton Dixon, right? He was going to go into the offseason before some injuries with 6 carries
with
this
no
year.
reps, yeah.
And now 24 today. You saw the numbers, almost 100 yards rushing for him. And that's not, we're not even talking about Luke Wysong, the true freshman from the area who had a great year, not available today for New Mexico. But it's clear they've got to find some stability at quarterback. They today started their 8th different quarterback in 19 games in a season, and you know, count last year as well. It's 2 seasons, and they've just got to find a way to get some. And they had some, we thought, right, with Terry Wilson, the Kentucky transfer.
But you know, bad protection, you know, led to injuries there, and then you switch to the option midway through the season, and that puts your quarterback in a vulnerable position too.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about if you're not able to train and get the proper strength that you need to run such type of offense, then it's going to be difficult.
Andrew Peasley again. Andrew Peasley's in a quarterback, which if you're just flipping through and you see the score, that wouldn't surprise you that the backup's in. But the question, he came in after Logan Bonner went out. And this team, with Devin Tompkins there, ready to roll. They've got a week to now prepare for the Mountain West title game against San Diego State, a team they did not play this year. And Devin Tompkins, you know, I thought Anthony Tucker, the offensive coordinator, had a great line, because here's Devin Tompkins listed at 5'8", 155. One of the nation's leading receivers, as Peasley takes off and he gets into New Mexico territory and all the way down to about the 31-yard line. And the backup quarterback, is he okay? Grabbing that right shoulder, a 38-yard pickup, and now he's going to have to exit. Now this is really significant, and I'm sure one of the questions that Blake Anderson will get after this game is, what is the status of Logan Bonner? Because Utah State now is potentially down 2 quarterbacks in this game. This was a great run. Let's watch what happens to the right shoulder.
It definitely lands on it. Could be an AC sprain, hopefully not a dislocation.
And he landed hard. That ground is hard.
Yeah. And he's not a big guy either.
Cooper Legas is the 3rd string quarterback, a redshirt sophomore who has not appeared. Now there's Logan Bonner at the 5 touchdown, or there's Peasley, excuse me, walking off, going into the tent. There's Bonner, who had the 5 touchdown day today.
Just in case, just in case.
Yeah, he went out. He's been trying to get back in this game for 20 minutes.
Just get me inside the 10.
Holding his right side when he exited the game. Here comes Legas. Now the record being 32 touchdowns. He tied the single season record by Jordan Love today, and the single game record with 5. Not that they would need to, but Cooper Legas has not attempted a pass in his career. Three minutes now remaining. This is going to be the 7th team in Utah State history to reach the 9-win mark. And for the Aggies, a team that not only picked 5th, but as Blake Anderson told us, no one expected us to win 5 games. They're going to have 9 wins. Another carry for Gentry.
That says a lot about him, just as an individual, what he was able to do, just with this team overall. You know, just speaking to him, he's pretty much, as a person, what you look for in a head coach when it comes to just like his integrity, his mission, his belief, his energy. You know, even his players getting personal fouls, they come to the sideline, he pulls them to the side and just talks to them like individual young men. You know, he's not tearing his players apart. He builds them up, despite whatever challenges, adversities they're going through. And that's a credit to why they had the huge turnaround in such 1 year.
To your point, there's so many things that happen as Legas is caught in the backfield. And one of the things he pointed to was bringing some guys from Arkansas State as well in, like Brandon Bowling, who's had a good day today, and, of course, Logan Bonner. But he said one thing that really had an effect was in the offseason, they ran a lot. Right. To the point that a lot of the players who didn't know him would turn to some of the Arkansas State guys and go, is this for real? Or is this really what he does? Do we run this much? And then in the first 3 weeks of the season, they played a couple of games against Washington State and Air Force that they won where their fitness really showed up late. And he said that was one of the things he thought that really added to some of the belief of some of the players and their first-year head coach and him, that they saw that all the preparation in terms of the physical fitness that he had them do was paying off early. They felt like they were fresher at the end of games than their opponents were, and it only added to the buy-in that had already begun.
On the field is the first down.
Speaking of Cooper, he's a unique athlete. He state champion wrestler. Javelin. Oh, there he is. He's getting the towels.
Here he goes. What a first year. I'll let you finish the point on Legas, though, and then we can.
State champion wrestler in javelin. How about that?
That's one heck of a combo. He can throw it.
He can definitely throw it if he's throwing the javelin like that.
A cold day, a crisp day. I don't know if Blake Anderson's feeling it, though. It's a perfect finish after the letdown last week against Wyoming. They did not control their destiny, but they took care of business today. San Diego State beat Boise State, and Utah State wins the Mountain Division, and they've got a date with San Diego State next Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern on Fox for the Mountain West Championship game. Great friends, mentors, former coaches on this New Mexico staff, Danny Gonzalez and Blake Anderson embrace. And Blake Anderson and Utah State preparing to face the Aztecs next week for the Mountain West title. What a year for the Aggies, and what a bounce back.
Yeah, outstanding. That's how you come back from the previous week and you get it done. You come out and you start slinging the ball in the air. 5 touchdowns from Logan Bonner. Make a statement. Control your own destiny in terms of hey, we got to win today. Hopefully we get some help, and that's exactly what happened for Coach Anderson and Utah State Aggies.
So Logan Bonner and Devin Tompkins and Blake Anderson will get a shot at that Mountain West title a week from Saturday on Fox. Thanks for watching here from Albuquerque. Now let's send it to Mike Hill for more post-game coverage.